Wish that all the technology works, and I hope you're all doing well today. It's um it's a beautiful day out there. Just going outside. I went outside to walk my dog last night, and it's always so strange when it feels really warm outside, especially after like being so cold. It gives me this sense of hope that spring is coming, and it will. I mean, it's still February, but it's always nice to think that the next season will come. And even though we still might have more snow, it's nice to just have that little bit of warmth within us. So, my name is Kat, and I'm going to be guiding you through this practice for today. I encourage you to take this practice at your own pace, to do what feels right for you throughout this practice, and to really listen to your inner voice. So if something doesn't feel right, follow what does feel right for you today and in this practice. So let's get into a comfortable position, whether you want to be seated or lying down on your back. Find a place that feels really comfortable for you. Last week we started off with an opened eye meditation. So for today, you might introduce a little bit of that, especially if you haven't done it throughout this week. And we start to let our body settle. And maybe it feels right to just close your eyes. And let your body be a sponge right now. What is there to take in this present moment? You might be within the mind, or you might be within the physical elements of the body. So just take stock of where you are today, right now. Maybe you become a little bit more curious from the body and you allow for there to be space between the lips, the teeth, softening of the jaw. Notice where your attention gets drawn to. And maybe you can soften just a little bit more to those places. And notice the breath as the breath flows in and out. The expansion of the belly. Center your attention to the belly. Notice if there's any resistance within that breath. Can you allow for the breath to become just a little bit more lengthened, a little larger, a little bit more grandiose? Notice how that affects the rest of the inhalation. I always love to imagine that as I'm taking my big, deep breath, I'm allowing for this space, the air, to circulate around my heart space, to cushion it, to support it, so that the chest feels this broadening. And it gives just a little bit more support, especially when it feels like you might be the one who does the supporting. It's just nice to have that little bit of support brought back to you. maybe you start to play around with the breath. You can pause at the top of the inhalation before letting the breath rush out of you, or you can pause at the bottom of the exhalation, creating what's called kumbhaka, that little bit of retention, of hold before the next step of your breath. And as all of your attention and awareness is brought to the breath, you might become aware that other things started to fade away into the background. So our focus doesn't eliminate the stress that we have, but rather it just brings us a new sense of attention. And maybe we draw back further to just observe. We can observe how the external world has an internal pressure on us. We can start to observe how we react, or maybe how we don't react. Giving yourself just a few more moments to linger in the breath, to linger in this moment, to linger in this meditation. What is the animal within you, this creature? What does it need? Maybe we allow for that thought to roam with us throughout this practice. Give yourself another deep breath in. And let it go through the nose. And if you are on your seated position, I'm going to invite you to slowly make your way onto your back. If you're already on your back, start to hug those knees into the chest. And as we start with those knees in towards the chest, you can circle out the ankles. You have a little bit of freedom. Maybe you play around with bringing the knees away from the chest or bringing them back in. So you can start to notice the places in the body that maybe need to be woken up. And if you want, you can create a breaststroking action, circling the knees either together or away from each other, mirroring each other. You can play around with kicking legs up to the sky, maybe even extending those arms to the back of the mat. Just imagine there's not one care in the world. And if there's no care in the world, all you have to do is just to experience this moment, the way your body feels, rather than letting your mind live somewhere else. What's happening right here and right now, where life is happening. Again, finding just a few more breaths to explore. Maybe you want those knees to rock side to side, or maybe you choose to do something else. And giving one more breath. And then we're going to slowly bring our feet up to the sky. Take our hands, and you can either bring them behind the back of the head or underneath your underneath your hips, I should say. And I want you to lift your head and shoulders off the mat. Keep pressing your head back into your hands and see if you can relax the shoulders in this position. Press that lower back a little bit more into the ground. Now notice if it feels good to flex the feet or if it feels better to have them soft. It becomes a choice of how we move our body. Now on your inhale, lift the head a little bit higher and lower that right leg down to a hover. On your exhale, lift that leg right back up. Lift the head up a little bit higher. Inhale, left leg lowers down. Exhale, draw it up while maintaining core strength. Inhale, right leg lowers down. And exhale, lift it back up while pressing and maintaining core into the ground. Inhale, left leg lowers down. And exhale, lift it right back up. Now, if at any point you don't want that head lifted up, you can always drop it back down as long as you have stability from within your core. So we're working on protecting our lower back, and so we adjust. We want our last movement to look like our first. So that might mean that the leg doesn't lower as low as we do this, or maybe it feels better to bend the knee that's lowering down. That can feel a lot more supportive. So do what feels right for you, and maybe you explore what it feels like to have a long leg or to bend, and continue to breathe. Your inhale lowers the leg down. Your exhale lifts it back up. We have another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Make sure you end with that left if you can. And we will draw those knees back into the chest. Let them rock side to side. Hands can go on shins or anywhere it feels comfortable. Maybe you drop those knees to the wide sides of the mat and just see what that feels like to open up your hips. Take a deep breath in and out. Drop your feet down to the ground. Hands are going to come by your sides, and we're going to lift your hips up, coming into a bridge. So we get an opening from the front of those hip flexors. A lot of times we do core work. Those hip flexors come along for the ride. And that's part of the job of what we have to do is to notice what connects and what releases. On your exhale, curl through the spine to release down nice and slowly. Pressing into those heels, scoop the hips up, coming up as high as it feels comfortable. Squeeze those glutes, maintain strength back line of the body, and on your exhale, release down nice and slowly. Just 2 more times, lifting, peeling hips up, and lowering down nice and slowly, curling through the spine or moving at a better, different pace for you. Hips up and release down. Now we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. Knees are going to open to the wide sides of the mat. So we should look like Supta Baddha Konasana. Feet together, knees open. Hands are going to go behind the back of the head if you want support. And it's okay here if that lower back is slightly lifted because of the position of our hips. Take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, curl the head and shoulders up. Inhale to release down to a hover or all the way down. And then exhale, lift to come up. Notice those hip flexors now. They usually can't turn on lower down. And curl to come up. Just a few more times. We're going to move with time. So I just checked my clock. So don't worry about the time. Just worry about or be connected to what's going on with the body. We're lifting the head, we're curling into it, and then releasing down. I always like to wiggle my toes when I'm doing this so I can just get another snapshot of what's going on in my lower half of the body. And maybe you want to go a little faster, or maybe you want to go a little slower. For our last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release the head down. Let those knees come together gently and hug those knees into the chest. Rock side to side. Give yourself another breath. And from here, you're going to bring your hands behind the backs of the knees. And we're going to rock forwards and backwards a bunch of times until we have enough momentum that we can move ourselves into tabletop position. So as you come up, you might cross ankles, shift forward, press those knees back. And then maybe you have to walk yourself back to the center part of your mat. Of course, you can always roll onto your side. So from our tabletop position, you can tent the fingers, fist the hands, or two high fives, bring them on down to the ground. Inhale, let the tailbone lift, chest open, slide shoulders away from the ears. And on your exhale, round the back, press it up to the sky, bring your chin to your chest. Inhale, lift the tailbone, open up the chest, and exhale to round. And we're just going to go a few more times, moving through cats and cows. Maybe your eyes close and you find some extra wiggles and shifts and adjustments with what it is that you're doing. Because what ultimately we want to do is find freedom, find our own internal strength. And then taking your time, letting your hips dissolve towards your heels, finding your child's pose. So as we find child's pose, those knees can open as wide as it feels comfortable. Those arms can extend and stretch towards the front of your mat. As you're doing that, you can let the arms be active or let them be a little bit more passive. If you need any additional support, if you find the knees are a little bit tender right here, you can wedge a blanket, a pillow, a towel, anything between the backs of the legs, the hamstrings, and the calves. And then now notice your breath here. In this child's pose, I want you to think about stretching that breath out, lengthening it. Notice what it feels like for you to let everything settle. And I want you to know this place is here for you anytime you need it. If you need to find moments of peace, moments of ease, moments of release, I want you to take that on. Be okay with finding that place. Take a deep breath in and out. One more deep breath in and out. Pressing into those palms. Inhale, press yourself up, tabletop position. And then we're going to take that right arm and we're going to stretch it towards the front of your mat. So the bicep is nice and close to the ear. And then we're going to let that arm travel up towards the ceiling. Follow it with your gaze. As you exhale, bring the hand to the back of the mat and then down to the ground. We're going to swing it forward. Inhale, up to the sky. Circle it back and around. And just one more time. Now the next time, we're going to sweep that arm. Inhale, straight up to the sky. Broaden the chest. On your exhale, thread the needle. Reach right hand to the left side. Land down on that right cheek. And as you do, you can wiggle the hips. You can let the left hand lift up. You could let that left leg reach back. Or you can find some mixture of it all. Whatever feels right for you, just kind of explore. And we're already on the ground, so we don't necessarily have to worry about falling as much because we're already there. It's more of a roll. Give yourself a deep breath in. See if you can pour more weight down onto that right shoulder. And out. Slowly releasing left hand and knee down if they were up. And on your inhale, we're just going to press ourselves back into our tabletop position. Notice the difference between the two shoulders. Circle out the head, the neck. Before we get into our other side, We're going to take that left arm, stretch it towards the front of the mat. And then the arm inhale is going to reach up to the sky, to the back of your mat, down to the ground. Forward, circle, to the back and around. And just finding your own freedom here. Now, the next time you have that right arm reached up to the sky, take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, thread the needle. Land down onto that left shoulder. The arm is reaching towards the right side of your mat. That left cheek plants down, and I want you to pour all of your weight down into that left shoulder. And you can even shift here, forwards, backwards, lifting right arm, right leg, finding some kind of movement that feels right for you. Sometimes doing the weird was really what we had to do. So we advocate for ourselves as we find this mindfulness. Give yourself another deep breath in and out. Releasing right hand and knee down, pressing into them. Inhale, press yourself up, tabletop position. Walk your hands forward and start to circle out the hips, creating big sweeping circles, letting it be as expressive as you can. You can always keep it tighter and smaller, but I want it to be that prescription of what your body needs for today. Maybe you're going in the opposite direction now, or maybe you're trying to create figure eights with your hips. Notice what holds you back, and then I want you to notice what brings you forward. May every breath we have be this breath of gratitude. Thank you, body. Thank you, mind. We're here today, and we're practicing, and we're moving, and we're grooving. And we'll come into center. Tuck those toes and lift those knees to a hover. As we bring those knees to a hover, push those hands into the ground, push into that upper back, and tuck the pelvis a little bit more. Feel this connection right here. Keep hollowing out your core. Bamboo, so strong, hollow core. I want you to think about your body as being that kind of resource, so good. Now step left foot to the back of the mat and then right. We're going to find a plank. Now you can always drop down onto knees if you want, or you can keep those knees lifted. Squeeze the quads. Take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, bend those knees, press back down, dog, pedal out the feet. You might shake out the head, yes. And no, you might move those feet to the wide sides of the mat, maybe shimmy the tailbone from side to side, shake anything that needs to be shaken. Express what you want to express right here. Maybe that tailbone is trying to lift higher up to the sky. You might lift the heels, bend the knees a lot. Take 2 more breaths wherever you are. And 1 more breath. And bending those knees, look forward, walk, hop, or step your feet to the front of your mat. Coming into your forward fold, elbows to thighs, or even coming into full ragdoll position, grabbing onto opposite elbows. You can bend and straighten the legs. You can rock the torso. You have freedom to do whatever feels right for you and for your body in this moment. Take 1 more deep breath in and out. Bending those knees a lot. We're going to roll up to standing. As you roll up to standing, circle, sweep the arms up to the sky. And on your exhale, hands are going to come to your heart space. Relax the hands down by your sides. On your inhale, shoulders come forward, lift up, circle back and around. And then elbows, lift up, shoulders, circle back and around. Now, whole arm, inhale, arm sweeps up and circle back and around. We're going to do it again. Shoulders, elbows, full arm, shoulders, elbows, full arm. Coming into our Tadasana, pause. Notice the connection under your feet. Imagine there's this light that's coming from the chest, and that light is pressing forward. There is a string coming from the top of your head, and it's pulling you up. Feel lightness within each one of our joints. Feel this strength, this inner power. It's in each one of us every day. Inhale, let those arms reach up to the sky. Exhale, sink down into your chair. So let's find our chair foundation first. So knees are not going over our toes. Our hips are drawn back. And then I want you to stand up tall. Those arms reach back. Squeeze the quads, squeeze your glutes. Sink into our chair, maybe hands to heart space. And then we stand up tall. And I want you to go this first time as a slower pace. And just to notice what there is to notice, be that sponge. And we're just allowing for the body to move. Maybe imagine that you're going through water. And it's okay if we're all at different paces. It's a beautiful thing about life. If I'm a people watcher, and one of my favorite things, which I can't wait to do again, is to be able to be at like a busy street, sitting down and just watching people walk past. You know, it's always the best when you're at a restaurant and you just watch people in their natural habitat moving, in the pace and the excitement and the energy from each person is always so different. You can kind of pick up on it for a second and just enter their life for just a moment, and then it's gone. And that's how we all move. We all move differently. Some of us have the same needs and others have different. We have 10 more seconds, nice little distraction. This is just waking up the body, getting that heart rate up just a little bit, and just giving us that mindfulness for our last 3, 2, and 1. We'll stand up tall. Inhale, reach those arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands come down, hinge forward, forward fold. Slide your hands to your shins, come into your halfway lift. And on your exhale, release down. Bend those knees, bring the elbows down onto the thighs, sinking down really deeply into our chair, into our squat. Press those hips back more, and then start to reach that right arm up to the sky. Find a twist. So that right arm is stretching up. You can always bring right hand to hip if the shoulder up doesn't feel good. Take a deep breath in here. And on your exhale, release the right elbow down. Press those hips back. Find that initial position that you came into when you were fresh. From here, start to reach left arm up to the sky. Again, hand to hip if that feels better for you. Find your twist. It's not my twist. It's the one that feels best for you. Take one more deep breath in. Draw those hips back. Bend the knees a little bit more. And on your exhale, release elbow down. Hands come to the ground. Shake out the head yes and no. Take a deep breath in and out. Inhale, left foot comes to the back of the mat. Pausing here for a second Notice what it feels like. Maybe you shift forwards, backwards. Maybe it feels good just to stretch out that right leg for a second. Maybe it feels nice to bring hands on blocks. Find this foundation first. Relax shoulders away from the ears. And on your inhale, I want you to take those arms, reach them back, and get your belly off of your thigh. Keep that right knee bent. Pause here for the exhale. Relax the right toes. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. And exhale, release right hand down. Left arm shoots up and over to the right side. On your inhale, we're going to come back up. This time, T or W into the arms. And on your exhale, slight twist to the right. Yeah, to that front knee. Just a slight twist, doesn't have to be big. On your inhale, we'll come back to center. Reach those arms up. On your exhale, plant those hands to the front of your mat. Bend that right knee, lift the hips up, and then step right foot to the back of your mat. Find your inner power, your inner strength. Deep breath in and out. We are going to make our way down all the way to the ground. So whether you want to keep those knees up or down, totally up to you. But maybe there's a shift forward. Draw those elbows towards the ribs as you fight gravity to come down. Chest hits before the belly. Relax the top of the feet wherever you are. Inhale, head, shoulders lift up. Gaze stays down. On your exhale, release. We're going to do it again. Squeeze those glutes, press onto the tops of the feet. Inhale, head, shoulders lift up. Gaze stays down. Tuck the chin. And exhale, release down. Now lift your butt up an inch, either from knees or toes. Push up, tabletop or plank to down dog. Take a deep breath in and out. Inhale, we're going to take that right leg, reach it up. On your exhale, bring the knee into the chest, roll forward. Inhale, reach it up. And on your exhale, knee comes forward. Now drop the knee down on the ground. Right foot goes off to the left or the right side of your mat. We're going to find a modified plank. Left arm reaches up to the sky. And then lift that left leg up. We're going to tap it down and then lift it up. And tap it down and lift it up. One more time. Tap it down, lift it up. Drop the foot down, take a deep breath in, and try to lift your hips up a little bit higher. So there's this pressing of that left hip up to the sky. On your exhale, release left hand down. Step that right foot to the back of your mat. Bend your knees, press back down dog. Take a deep breath in and out. Bend your knees, look forward, inhale. As you exhale, walk, hop, or step your feet to the front of your mat. Bend those knees, inhale, roll up to standing, circle sweep arms up. And exhale, hands to heart space, release them down. Circle shoulders. Circle elbows and shoulders. Whole arm. One more time, shoulders. Elbows. Whole arm. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, chair. Now stand up and sit down. Easy peasy. We don't even need flowery verbiage for it. And maybe you encourage faster. We've gone at one speed, but I want to encourage you to try something new, or guess what? Work on what feels right for you. The time is yours, and I want you, every time you stand up tall, I want you to stand up with this sense of being proud. Each breath, gratitude. Personally speaking, I always want my movement to be in thanks and in gratitude for me. This past weekend, I went hiking, climbed up a crazy slide full of ice, and it was the hardest thing that I've done in a really long time. And at the end, as I was still making that final descent or that final ascent, each breath, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm here. Keep it going. You have 15 more seconds. And that's what we're doing today. We don't do this to punish ourselves. It's not because we ate cookies. It's not because of anything like that. It's because movement is good for us. We love us. Last 3, 2, 1. Stand up tall. Notice the beating of your heart. Take a deep breath in and out. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Exhale, hinge down through the center. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. And exhale, release down. Inhale, right foot, back of the mat. Again, shift forwards, backwards. You can always release that right knee down if you choose to. You get to just play. Maybe it feels good to straighten that left leg. What is there that's happening in this posture that we can just start to bring to our forefront of awareness? Take one more deep breath in and out. Now, we're going to take our time, come up, arms sweep back so that belly comes off of the thigh. We're still in this forward positioning, 45 degrees. Relax those left toes. On your inhale, sweep those arms up. Torso comes up, left knee stacked over the left ankle. Relax the shoulders. Yeah. Good. Pause here for a second. Lift the corners of your mouth. Find your own inner strength. Beautiful. Release left hand down. Right hand stretches up and over to the left side. Inhale, come on up. T formation or W. Exhale, twist to the left. Yeah. Inhale, come on back to center. Sweep those arms up. Broaden the chest one more time. Exhale, plant those hands down softly. And then step left foot back to meet the right. Nice. Take a deep breath in and out. So we'll find our plank position. Squeeze those quads. Draw those elbows in. Shift forward. On knees or not, dealer's choice. Exhale, come on down all the way. One more time. Chest hits before the belly. Fight gravity. Inhale. Head, shoulders lift off the mat. Gaze stays down. And exhale to release down. Inhale, press up, tabletop or plank. Press yourself back. Downward facing dog. Pedal at the feet, one breath. Get your feet together at the back of the mat. Inhale, take that left leg, reach it up. Exhale, knee into chest, roll forward. Inhale up. Exhale, knee into chest. Drop the knee down, left foot off to the left. Open up, modified side plank. Lift that right leg up. Yeah. And drop it down. And then let's lift it back up. And we'll drop it down. 2 more times. Lift it up and drop it down. Take the pressure away from that left hand. Use your core to hold you up. Last time. Lift it up, pause. Take a deep breath in, relax the shoulders. Now release. Right foot, right hand down. Step back into your plank. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, down dog. Inhale right here in your down dog, shake it out. Now bend those knees. Inhale, exhale, walk, hop, or step your feet to the front of your mat. Bending those knees a lot. Inhale, roll up. Arms sweep up to the sky. Exhale, hands down by your sides. Shoulders, inhale, lift them up. Circle them back and around. Elbows. Whole arm. One more time. Shoulders. Elbows. Whole arm. Hands are going to come to the chest. Exhale, press it down. One more time. Inhale, hands to chest. And exhale, flip palms, press it down. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, chair. Okay, so from this chair, weight on the right, left foot taps back. And then we're going to tap it forward. And then guess what? Right foot taps back. And we tap it forward. So you always have the option. I'm keeping it low and forward in this position. This becomes an unsupported forward fold. So you might choose to come up each and every time and make it a little bit more, I would say, cardio-like. I can't think of the word for it. My brain went to mush for a second. I love when that happens. Or if you keep it forward, it makes it a little bit more intense for that forward leg. So you get to choose what feels right for you. And maybe you go between the two. And we're just going for heart rate up. We're going for foundation. So make sure that front knee stays over the ankle. Good. Draw your abs in. Keep your gaze looking towards the front of your mat. Yeah, think about length in the back line of the neck. Beautiful. Here we go for our last 15 seconds. And we're breathing, right? Thank you, body. This is us. This is us. Now, the next time you have that left foot back, pause. Pause right here. Hinge forward. So like two magnets, belly is coming towards the thighs. Let those arms reach back. Take your right toes, lift them up. Lift them, and then lower them. Now shift forward more. Load up that right leg. Are you ready? Lift that left leg up. Now it could be an inch. It could be to that parallel position to the ground. Just drop that left hip down. Bend the right knee more. Press back into that right glute. Take a deep breath in and out. 3 of these if you choose. Bend the right knee and then straighten it. And then bend the right knee and straighten it. One more time, just for funsies. Bend and straighten. Now we're going to open up warrior 2. Left foot goes to the back of the mat. Arms open. Take a deep breath in and out. One more time, deep breath in and out. Now we're going to do our jumping jacks. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky, straighten the front leg, and exhale, open it up. Inhale, reach up, and exhale to open. 2 more times, and exhale to open. Last time, inhale, reach up tall, and exhale to open. Right hand behind the back of the head, left hand to the left leg. Let that right elbow go back, and then lift it up to the ceiling. Take a deep breath in, relax those right toes, and out right here. Inhale, come back to warrior 2. Now bring your right hand on your right thigh and start to circle that left shoulder while you bend and straighten the right knee. And maybe you go in the opposite direction a few times because mobility happens in both ways. Now, the next time you have that right knee bent, pause, slide your right arm either on top of the knee or in front. Start to let that left shoulder lift up. Gaze can look up, relax those right toes. We're going to hold this extended side angle for a few breaths. So if there's other things you want to explore out of this, maybe try it. Or maybe don't. But again, it becomes a choice. What choice do you take on? Take a deep breath in and out. Couple more breaths. So when something feels challenging, how do you face it mentally? Physically, we adjust, we move. Take one more breath. Now, if you have a bind of any kind, release it. I want you to use your left obliques to come up. So press into your feet, tuck your pelvis. Inhale, torso comes up. As you come up, straighten the right leg and dial the toes to the left side of your mat. Interlace hands behind the back and broaden the chest. Gaze can look up. On your exhale, hinge forward. Now, those arms can stay by the lower back or reach up towards the ceiling or even forward. And when you're ready, you can release those hands down. Just shaking out the head, yes and no. Maybe you like to do those side lunges. Those are usually like my jam. But we're going to settle here for a little bit of time for you to just find whatever freedom you need. Again, what's the prescription your body needs for today? So as I study those limbs of yoga, and I constantly come back to certain ones that really draw my attention, ahimsa is one of the most important ones that, for me, that resonates really loudly. And that's practicing nonviolence. Nonviolence doesn't have to be, or violence doesn't have to be to someone else. It can be our own internal dialogue. It's the reason why we do the things we do. Climbing up that mountain might be considered an act of violence if I was going about it because I wanted to punish myself. But if I want to come to it to test my own strength in a healthy boundary, in a healthy way, it becomes strength building. The why is so important in life. Consideration. Now, if you have a block handy, I want you to grab that block and bring it underneath either the head or chest level. And we'll come up to a halfway lifted position. Draw shoulders away from the ears. Now, root left hand on to the block, right hand onto the hip. And then we're going to start to spiral the torso up towards the sky, up towards that right side. Shift to the toes, shift to the heels. Notice how that changes the way it feels, the dynamic quality. Take a one more deep breath in. And on your exhale, we'll release down. Right hand goes onto the block, left hand onto your hip, halfway lifted position. Inhale, and on your exhale, twist open to the left side. Now again, notice what it feels like. Take a deep breath when your body is twisted. Feels weird. But what in life doesn't feel weird? Take one more deep breath in. On your exhale, slowly release down. Relax head, neck, shoulders. Shake it out, yes and no. We're going to bend those knees and we're going to roll up to standing. As we roll up to standing, bring your heels in. Sink down, hands to thighs. And then drop right shoulder down, look over the left. And then we'll come back to center and go in the opposite direction, left shoulder, look over the right. Come back to center, and we'll roll up to standing. All toes are going to face back to the front of your mat. Now, look to that right foot, spread the toes open wide. We're going to come up into our tree. So left foot is going to come up. You can either tap it. Now, the foot can go anywhere that feels comfortable for you. So you could bring it above the knee, cap, below it. It could be on the ground. It could be right here, and this is a beautiful tree. Relax the shoulders, roll them. I want you to focus on this. The ideas that you have in your mind are what creates what's going on. So if you try to imagine yourself being as still as possible, what are you going to focus on? How much you move, right? Try it. Like every little movement, you're like, oh, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. No. So if you focus on just like letting the body be loose, our objective isn't stillness. Our objective is strength and balance. Trees have sway and they balance just fine. Give yourself a big old breath. And out. Take that left knee, bring it forward, and then plant it down nice and softly. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up to the sky. And exhale, sink down into your squat. Now this squat, left foot goes back, and then right. Right foot goes back, and forward. So we're just going side to side. Now, if you liked that standing up each time, you have that opportunity right here. And we notice how mindful we can be here, how much that torso has to come forward. How do we protect that front knee? Where are you pressing up from? If you are coming up and down, what feels better? What feels harder? What do you shy away from and what do you dive towards? We're just going to go for 15 more seconds here. And breathe. Relax those shoulders for our last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right foot goes back. Torso hinges forward. Feel that connection. Load up the leg. Like, don't be afraid. Now shift forward. Load it up more. Lift up those left toes. Plant them down softly. Shift forward more. Lift up that right leg. Hips can stay neutral. Yeah. Okay, so in this position, either stay still or 3 times. Bend that left knee, straighten it. And then bend that left knee and straighten it. One more time. Bend and straighten-ish. Deep breath in. Exhale, open up, warrior 2. So as you find your warrior 2 facing the right side of your mat, left foot forward, right foot open. Turn the right toes in so that they're facing the right side of your mat. Yeah, even more so. So your toe on the right can even be turned in a lot. This helps to facilitate and protect that left knee. So it keeps it stacked. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. We're going to find those warrior 2 jumping jacks. So inhale, arms reach up to the sky, straighten the front leg, and then exhale, sink down into it. And then inhale up. Thank you. Exhale down. 2 more times. Inhale up. And exhale down. Last time. And exhale down. Hold it low. Keep that left knee stacked. Now left hand behind the back of the head, right hand hip or just rest on the thigh. And then tip that left elbow up to the sky. Relax it back and away. Gaze can look up. Gaze can look down. Relax those left toes. Are they holding on for dear life? Mine were. On your next inhale, we're going to come back up. Stretch those arms. Left hand comes down onto the left thigh. And then we're going to start to circle out that right shoulder. So why is it that we move today? If you want to go in the opposite direction with the shoulder, try something new. It's time for you to express. Next time you have that left knee bent, either the left elbow can rest on it or it can go in front. I want you to find that relationship. So wherever you are, relax the left shoulder. Maybe lean back on that right shoulder a little bit, or maybe not. We're holding it here for a few breaths. So as you hold this position, maybe you find a bind. Maybe you find some other place that feels right for you. Relax the jaw. Notice the places where tension maybe doesn't have to be so helpful. That's the word, helpful. Tension is not always a bad thing. Oh. Give yourself 2 more long, slow breaths. Let that slow the nervous system down. Erin, nice. I like it. Now, I want you to use to come up those right obliques. So push into your feet, relax your hands. Inhale, torso comes up. As it comes up, let those left toes face the right side. 5-pointed star. Deep breath in, broaden the chest. Exhale, hinge forward. Lead with the heart, lower head, neck, shoulders down. Again, if you want to do those side-to-side lunges, dealer's choice. And the whole time, we're just breathing. Take a deep breath in. And out. And we're going to slowly let those toes go open in this position. Heels come in. And we're going to roll up into our goddess position. As we roll up into our goddess position, roll those shoulders down and back. Sink down low. Hips, ribs, shoulders, everything is stacked. Beautiful. Pausing here for 3 breaths. Two more breaths. And one more, yeah. Now pressing into those feet, relax the toes, push up at the top, squeeze the quads, squeeze the glutes. Then dial the right toe towards the front of your mat. Hips are going to come with it for the ride. Shift to that left foot. Right foot comes up into your tree. Where do you want your tree to be today? On this side. I'm going to tell you, one position isn't better than the other. It's just different. And again, where does the attention go here in a balance? Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. take 2 more breaths. Press that left foot evenly into the right foot, or the left leg into the right foot. And the same thing, right foot into that left leg. On your next inhale, unlock right knee, bring it forward, and then plant it down. Open up the feet about shoulder distance apart or a little bit more. Hands can come to the hips. We're just going to circle those hips around. You can get as big as you want here. Then you can go in the opposite direction. And then from this position, let the toes go open, heels come in, and we're going to sink down into malasana. So if you find your heels don't come down to the ground, you can always move your feet further away from each other or closer in. For each one of us, it's very different, so you can kind of play around with what feels right for you. And I always love to even play around with just shifting forward, bringing my hands down, getting some pressure on my wrists. Feels pretty good. Or maybe being still. And you always have the option if you wanted to find crow here. This is a beautiful place. So for finding crow, hands come down towards the front of the mat. Toes face forward. Elbows bend towards the knees. And you're going to bring the back. You have 2 options. Bring the back of the arm on, or the front of the knee on top of the back of the tricep. And then you can lift up one foot and then the other, or not. Gaze is staying forward. The other option is you can take those arms and squeeze them in rather than resting on the back. So you have a couple different options. The one thing is, don't look behind you. Look forward, as far forward as you can. That's going to help our balance so much. So you can play around with that or stay in your malasana for another, let's say, 3 breaths. A block is also a beautiful place. Okay. So bringing your hands down to the front of the mat. We're going to take that left leg and we're going to step it way, 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 way back. So I'll do it to the side so you can see what I'm saying. So step it back, and if you need to step it back even more, go for it. And then drop that left knee down on the ground and relax the top of the foot. From here, you can let that right knee just drop open to the right side a few times, and just be careful, super mindful. Side of the foot has very small bones. So as you rock the hip, be kind. Now you could choose to stay right here, or you can come further down into your lizard, dropping that outside elbow down first. Might feel nice, either on a block or straight down onto the mat, and then dropping down the inside elbow on a block or straight down onto the mat. Notice if the place that we're coming from, place that we're coming to, causes stress within the body. Come up higher. You can always pull back. Now, if you have blocks, we're going to have them. You stay right where you are, Karina, because you're already in the next position. So you're going to let your hands come down onto the ground, and we're going to straighten the right leg, and maybe bring those blocks with you for the ride as that right leg straightens, lengthens. You can wiggle the toes to make sure you're not adding too much stress. Take a deep breath in. Try to draw right hip back and the left hip forward. One more deep breath in. way. So we can bring that right foot down at any pace. And then tuck the left toes and lift the knee off of the mat. So to propel that left foot forward, what I personally like to do is to straighten my right leg and bend that left knee like I'm about to jump up. And then I use the force of my toes to shift that weight to the right foot and step left foot forward. Clear as mud. And then we sink down into malasana as our little intro point, our halfway point. And then that right foot goes back. Yes, nice crow. Look forward. Look forward. You're right there. You are so right there. So as we step that right foot back, you can drop the knee down and relax into it. Again, opening and closing the left knee. And coming down onto the elbows if you choose to. Of course, they're options. And the option, the path that you go down, you can always just pull back and be like, forget it. Palms it is. Give yourself just 3 more breaths. So either staying where you are or letting your hips press back as you find your half split or full split. You do you, my friends. So that left leg straightens, and I want you to think about drawing left hip back and right hip forward. Sometimes I like to imagine if I want a little bit more intensity in the stretch, a little bit more of that connection, I try to imagine there's a bullseye underneath that left heel, and I'm pressing into the bullseye. Of course, if that ever feels like it's too much, you just draw back from it. Maybe it's a soft pillow and we're just diving into it. That attitude, that perspective changes everything. Take a deep breath in wherever you are and out. All right, my friends. We're going to drop that left foot down and we're going to tuck those right toes. Instead of propelling that leg all the way forward, we are going to bring it halfway forward and then drop the shin down. And you're probably going to have to turn around. This is probably a good place to turn around. And we'll just kick our feet forward, coming onto our glutes. Hands go behind the back, and we'll just, first time, just windshield wiper feet side to side. Either way, who's on first? Let me just go back and forth. Now, the next time your legs are dropped over to the right side, I want you to extend that left leg and then sit up for 1 hot second. We're going to take that right arm, reach it up to the sky, and then drop the right hand behind the right glute, and then lift your hips up and reach back with the left hand. I like to see what happens even here when I circle the shoulder around on the left. Sometimes it's like, yes, you got this, and other times it's like, nope. Take 1 more breath. And on your exhale, slowly release. And then we'll do it on the other side. Left knee bends, right leg extends. Take that left arm, reach it up. And then exhale, drop it behind you. Lift your hips and reach that right hand back. And again, if you want to play around with the opening of the right shoulder, take 1 more breath. And exhale, we'll slowly release it down. Let your knees come into your chest. And we'll slowly make our way onto our backs. So just a quick little hip opener right here. Bring right ankle on top of the left thigh. Drop the knees from left to right a few times. It always feels good for me to windshield wiper. And then just for 2 breaths, hug those legs into the chest. Relax the shoulders. And one more breath. And we'll relax the left foot down, uncross the right, and we'll do it to the other side. Left ankle goes on top of the right thigh. And again, just windshield wiper the knees from side to side a few times. Notice how the hips adjust and shift and move. The lower back adjusts, shifts, and moves. We'll come into center when you're ready. Just 2 breaths. Keeping that figure 4 stretch and curl those legs into the chest. Deep breath in and out. One more deep breath in and out. Relax the hands, drop both feet down, and then hug them into the chest one more time. Let them rock side to side. And then taking your time, as you melt your body down, just dissolving into your shavasana. Letting the body be as supported as it needs to be. Letting go of any sensation of holding, any sensations of being forceful with the body. And consider these words by Donna Faulds. There is a quality of stillness so rare that the air shimmers in its presence. It's there between our eyes. We hear it when we dare to speak the truth. It vibrates with the music of life. It dances in the wind. It breaks forth from the trees into a clearing just as the sun rises and settles into silence once again. There is a quality of stillness so rare that I am bare to the very marrow of my bones before it. May I choose never to be clothed again. Om Shanti Om Shanti Take a deep breath in and let it go. And feel free to find movement that feels right for you or stillness if you choose. And choosing to stay right here or to roll over onto your side, letting the feeling of this practice, let it go with you. Maybe pressing yourself up into a seated position if you choose to. Maybe bringing hands to be placed tenderly and gently over the heart. Thank you, body. Thank you, mind. Thank you, community. Thank you, air. Thank you, snow. Thank you, rain. Thank you, life. May we continue to find gratitude with each breath that we take. May we continue to find the community around us, and may we continue to find this present moment. Thank you for joining and being who you are. All that I am bows so deeply to all that is within you. Namaste.